This month's full moon shines a light on where you may be out of balance in relationship with others or taking care of your own well-being. Stay tuned to learn more about finding balance in your life for this month's Aries full moon video. Hi, I'm Lori Barnes, the astrologer who helps people find their true calling and take action towards manifesting it. So we're here to talk about the Aries full moon. The full moons are about releasing, culminations or endings, compromise, making choices, and they're bursting with energy. I want to start off by giving you the dates and times of the Aries full moon. It's happening this Friday. That is September 29th. If you're on the west coast of the United States, it'll be early in the morning, 2:58 a.m. If you're on the east coast of the US, it'll be at 5:58 a.m. in the morning. And if you're here in Rome, Italy, where I'm broadcasting from, it'll be at 11:58 a.m. in the morning, just before noon. It's going to happen at 6 degrees of the sign of Aries. Aries and Libra lunations, they always have this theme of self-focus versus other-focused, whether it's an Aries or a Libra full moon. This one is an Aries full moon, and that means that the sun has to be in Libra. The sun is vitality. It's our central guiding system, and it's the core expression of who we are. The sign the sun travels through each month receives a boost of energy from the sun, and that means that the astrology house in your chart where the sun is traveling through receives a boost of vital solar energy. The sun in Libra expresses itself differently than its usual solar self-focus, because the sign of Libra is all about the other. It's about mediation, grace, and diplomacy. Libra is an air sign known for its social grace and an iron fist and a velvet glove. And it has this willingness to go to war just to achieve peace. That goes along with the usual Libra keywords like loving harmonious environments and beauty and being fair, equal, just, things like that. So yes, Libra is the sign known for trying to bring peace, and it's also known for going all out to get that peace. The sun expressing through Libra takes this indirect and non-traditional way of expressing itself, because the other must be considered and all options weighed before making a decision, where the sun on its own is usually more about the individual expression. And, Leo is the sun's home sign. In Libra, which is, often called the sign of being indecisive, regularly indecisive, when really Libra is about taking the time to look at all the different viewpoints and then making a decision that suits everyone. It's really difficult when Libra sees multiple equally beneficial responses, because it's hard to just choose one. I mean, I'm a Libra, and I can say one of the most difficult things for me to do is choose a restaurant, because I usually love all the choices and I just have to have someone else decide where we're going to go. When it comes to making an impactful decision, one that affects multiple people, Libras are really good at looking at all sides and making a choice that is the best for everyone, not just the Libra. Aries approaches things differently. Aries takes a direct approach and typically makes decisions that are best for themselves. Sometimes impulsively, but with great instinct. It's a fire sign. Aries is youthful energy, and it has a conquering spirit. Nothing much can really stop Aries from taking action after they've made a decision, oftentimes a lightning quick decision. And this can be really helpful in a fast-paced environment, but it can also have drawbacks, because if you don't take the time for considering all perspectives, there's an increased chance of having to backtrack, fix things, or in the worst case, start all over. Aries is known for jumping into something with great enthusiasm and then losing interest shortly after. So Aries can start many things, but also not finish a lot of things. Aries is great for starting something and then handing off that detail work or that maintenance work to someone else, like a Virgo or a Taurus. Aries is a sign that the sun loves to express through. The sun is actually expressing in the opposite sign of Libra. And the sun really likes to express through Aries because of the vitality and spirit of the sun and Aries or the pace of Aries, they go really well together. The solar energy of the sun embraces the action-oriented spirit of the sign of Aries, right? So this full moon lunation has the sun in the opposite place. With the sun in Libra and the moon in Aries, the lights are expressing themselves in ways that are different from their nature, the lights being the sun and the moon. So the solar sun must express through Libra, which means considering the other solar beings that are out there. And then the lunar moon, who loves to be receptive, is running more hot, is making more flash decisions. And these decisions are based more on the level of excitement that's stirred up. There is this need to win, regardless of how it impacts others. And this upcoming Aries moon happens less than a week after the September equinox. So it's an interesting mix. And, it's different from the March equinox when the sun is in Aries and the full moon, is in Libra. But each year we get to experience these two lunations, so we can learn from these two different perspectives. So you can think back to late March when we had the equinox and the full moon in Libra and the sun in Aries. Like, how were you experiencing balance in the different areas of your life, like career, family, relationships, and friends? Aries and Libra are the signs that represent the balance of daylight and moonlight at the equinoxes in March and September. So it's always these two signs. March is when the sun enters Aries, and September is when the sun enters Libra. So that's why I'm talking about Libra and Aries in relation to the equinoxes, because every year it's these two signs that mark the equinoxes when the sun enters those signs. Just like the signs Cancer and Capricorn, they mark the solstices when the sun enters either Cancer or Capricorn. So the equinox was September 23rd. That's less than a week before this full moon. The equinox is nature's reminder to us how life will ebb and flow. We have the long days of summer and the short days of winter. And then in the spring and fall, where we have the change of seasons, we have the days of equal sunlight and equal moonlight. So we have this ebb and flow every year. So, in one direction, we're moving to the longest day, and the other direction to the shortest day. And of course, that depends on which hemisphere that you live in. If you're in the northern hemisphere, you're moving into the autumn or fall. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, like my friends in South Africa and Australia, then you're moving into spring. Nature is modeling for us, going in and out of balance with the light. And it helps to remind us that in our lives, we're constantly in a balancing act. We're reminded to recognize when we're out of balance and to bring it back in. So just like Libra and Aries shows us where we can be overly focused on other people and their needs, or overly focused on ourselves, it's showing us this balance, the equinoxes and the Libra Aries axis. Balance is important. It's not a state that we can maintain. It's rare that we can maintain balance at all times, anywhere in our life. That's just not how the human experience works. We're not perfect human beings, and we have to juggle many things throughout our lifetime. And it's this balancing act. If we become good at it, we can help keep ourselves from going too far out of balance, like, to the extremes. We can keep it kind of like balancing in a more reasonable back and forth in our lives, where, we're kind of going like this, but we're not going like this, right? So it's a matter of how far out of balance we get and how well we maintain kind of that fluctuation in that sweet spot of balance. This is the time of the year to evaluate where you're out of balance. Like, where are you maintaining good balance in your life, and how far out of balance do you tend to go in the different areas of your life? Do you swing to those outer boundaries of balance? Are you able to catch yourself when you're a bit off and bring it closer to the middle? Don't make the mistake of thinking that you can find and maintain balance in any part of your life in a rigid way, like where it never changes. Life just doesn't work that way. So we can't really grow and learn if things are always perfectly balanced. But if you don't want to let yourself fall so far out of balance that it disrupts your ability to live in peace, then you want to look at the different parts of your life and your relationships individually, and kind of figure out how well you're doing and where you might want to make some changes to bring your balance back into the middle zone. There may be some parts of your life that are fairly well balanced, But then in other parts are imbalanced. So you have to look at the different parts of your life, friends, family, work, and relationship. Anyone who lives in your home with you. If you find that you devote too much of your precious time, time is precious. It's one of our most valuable resources. So, look at your different relationships. And if you find that you put too much of your time kind of catering to others' needs and wants, then it's time for you to learn the word no, like actually practice saying no and take charge of how you spend your time. And if you're on the other end where you find that your self-focused behaviors are having a negative impact on some of your relationships or an important relationship, consider how it would change if you started looking at the other person's perspective before making a decision. Bringing more diplomacy into your relationships may be what your life mirror is reflecting back to you. If you're struggling with this in your life, schedule a consultation with me. I do astrology coaching, which is a mix of helping you navigate important life experiences with astrology, positive psychology, and coaching. I have a link below where you can connect with me on my website. And what I mean by that mirror of life is that what you see out there is a reflection of how you feel and how you think inside. So this is a really important time to really look at your world, like your immediate environment, and see what it's reflecting back to you, because it's your perception of that environment and it's your perception of people and what they're saying to you and how they're saying to you, their body language, what you're hearing and what they're saying can be two different perspectives, two different perceptions. So this is a really good time of the year to pay attention to that. I have a few other astrology events to share with you that are happening at the time of the Aries full moon. The first is Venus and Uranus. They're making a statement because they're making a connection in the sky. And Venus is the ruler of the sun because the sun is traveling through the sign of Libra at the full moon. And Venus, or Libra, is one of Venus's signs. So Venus is in an exact square with Uranus, the planet, the rebel, and the disruptor. And Venus is in Leo, the sun's sign. The sun is in Libra, one of Venus's signs. And when two planets are in each other's signs, it's called a mutual reception, and the energy flows particularly well. So the sun's definitely receiving some direction from Venus to diplomatically engage with the moon in Aries. And the sun is beaming energy back to Venus in this sextile connection that's both active and harmonious. There's this desire to express your true, authentic self, the creative, beautiful, and harmonious parts of yourself. This configuration wants to be desired and recognized for the beauty that lies within. And considering that Venus has spent a really long time in Leo after being retrograde, there's this part of her that's really ready to come out. And with the Venus-Uranus square, there's like this push to be, like rebellious or to be innovative as it comes to relationships. So whatever happened during the Venus retrograde, it's, you're coming out of it now. Things are hopefully resolved that needed to be worked on during the retrograde. And now there's this Venus who's wanting to be independent, and not to say independent as in not in a relationship, but within the relationship. Venus really is saying that how you express yourself in the relationships is really important, that you're authentic and true to yourself, that you are able to be you, the real you, and that your inner beauty and your inner light is shining out. So I hope that helps you to work with this energy of the Venus-Uranus square. You may be challenged to actually allow yourself to express the true you. So do it in baby steps. Don't try to do a full 180 makeover, but definitely if there is some style, some expression of yourself that you've been wanting to let out, and for some reason you've been shy about that, or worried how other people are going to respond to you, this is a really good time to work on that and come up with a way that you feel comfortable with to let that beauty shine out. And it may be challenging for you. It may not be easy for you to do, but it is a good time for you to work on overcoming that and using some really positive, self-compassionate language from yourself to yourself, going out and letting yourself shine. So look to the Leo part of your chart to learn more about where this energy is, taking place or happening in your life. The house is really going to give you a lot more information as to like where that's happening in your life. So back to the full moon in Aries, the moon in Aries wants to be heard. The moon in Aries can get easily frustrated and is very interested in self-preservation and getting her emotional needs met. If you want to understand best where this full moon energy is showing up for you, you want to look at the house where Aries is in your chart. So this combination of energies are synthesizing together, the Aries full moon, the Libra sun, and Venus in Leo. And then if you want to get a better idea of where this disruptive energy may show up, from Uranus, then you're going to look at the Taurus part of your chart, because that's where Uranus is traveling right now. The topics of these 4 houses are going to show you the different life experiences, the different life areas that are activated in your chart at the Aries full moon. So again, those house cusps are Libra, Aries, Leo, and Taurus. The other thing I want to mention is that Mars is traveling very close to the South Node. Mars is at 21 degrees Libra, and the South Node is at 24 degrees Libra, and it's retrograde. And that means that these two are traveling towards each other, not away from each other. So Mars is in the same sign as the sun, but it's further away. And contributing to this configuration of Mars with the nodes is Pluto. So Pluto's in a square to Mars and the nodes because it's traveling through the sign of Capricorn. So this is really important for you if you have any planets in the cardinal signs of Libra, Aries, Cancer, or Capricorn. If you have planets or important points in any of those 4 signs, you may feel some tension or some challenge may come up that's like kind of pushing you to take action in some way. And with the Libra Aries axis highlighted, you may be pushed to choose between what's needed for yourself and what others are wanting or demanding from you. It may not be an easy position that you find yourself in, but it will push you to make some needed changes. The nodes represent fated events, and their involvement is usually pushing you to grow into new territory and opportunities. And that's based on the North Node. That's what the North Node represents. The North Node always is traveling opposite of the South Node. So the North Node is with the moon in Aries. And the choices coming up right now are, again, can be like, are you caving in, to please others, where you pay the price, or are you choosing to do what's best for you, but it leaves other people disappointed? So your life situation, and you have to make the best choice for your situation. This is going to be most important for those of you with planets or placements in the cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. Look at those 4 signs in your chart and look at the descriptions of the houses for personal information in your chart, or contact me and schedule an astrology consultation. If you don't have anything activated in those parts of your chart, you're less likely to experience what I'm describing, at least, in a really challenging or motivating way. However, you will probably see it in the environment around you. The Libra and Aries axis is especially important for becoming aware of projections, like putting something on the inside out. So whether, it's seeing part of yourself in someone else, or in denial of your own behavior, or experiencing someone else seeing their own projections onto you, this time period is really sensitive for becoming more aware of shadow behavior. So that means, like, if you find yourself blaming others or seeing problems only coming from others, or from the outside, you're likely doing some projection. And the best way to use the energy of the Aries full moon is to take some time and think about what's really going on. When you're upset with someone else, when you're having an argument or a disagreement, or seeing the worst aspects of someone's personality, or you're ruminating in your mind something that you don't like about someone. These are usually shadow things. They're letting you know that this is something for you to work on or work out with yourself. So that's why I'm calling the theme of the Aries full moon the mirror and its many lessons. So I hope that helps you work with the energy. One more thing before we wrap up is I wanted to remind you that Mercury is now direct. It's finally finished the retrograde part of its cycle, but it's still in its post-shadow retrograde period, which ends on September the 30th. So right now you could be wrapping up the work that you focused on during the retrograde. So like, for example, I wrote a course on marketing for astrologers over the summer. And during this Mercury retrograde period, I purposely and strategically completed all of my updates. I did all my edits and I started my beta test, which I'll be wrapping up during the post shadow. Now I'm ready to go and teach it now that, we're out of the retrograde and going into Mercury moving forward. And I'm actually going to be teaching this course in October. So if this is something you're interested in, you can find out more at Kepler College, where I'll be teaching it, and you can sign up or learn more there. I'll include a link below. And the Venus retrograde post-shadow period is also wrapping up at this time. So any unresolved relationship issues that came up over the summer are hopefully resolving for you. The Venus retrograde post-shadow period ends on October 7th, and that's when Venus moves past the degree where she first went retrograde back on July 22nd. Okay, so that's covering the major energies happening at the upcoming Aries full moon. As usual, I have a couple of inspirational quotes for you based on the Aries full moon. And I was assisted this time by ChatGPT because I couldn't really find one that fit the energy or one that I wanted to say. So I wrote some prompts and I did some wordsmithing. And so this is kind of a mix of AI and me. So the first one is, in the magic of the equinox, day and night unite in perfect balance, reminding us of the harmony that can be found in the midst of change. And then the second one I have for you is, the equinox is a global symbol of balance, reminding us that nature's rhythms are felt by every soul, no matter their latitude. We are all citizens of Earth under the same celestial sky. I thought those two were pretty awesome. And like I said, I did use the help of AI, but it was wordsmithed by me. So okay, we're going to wrap up with some activity ideas for you to do on the Aries full moon. So get out and move your body. First and foremost, Aries is a fire sign. It's a cardinal sign. It's about getting out and moving your body. And Aries is the sign of the warrior, the conqueror. So if there's been something that's been challenging you, like really think about the different viewpoints, because it is, the sun is traveling through Libra, but take on a challenge, like just try to figure out how you're going to conquer something that's been challenging you. Take any kind of action towards your goals. You can start something new now that Mercury's retrograde is over. Get out there, go on a hike, do something with your hands. Aries likes to make things or work with their hands. So, you can make something. We're also in Libra season, so socializing is a great thing to do. Get out with your friends and your network. You can do a fall or a spring cleaning, depending on your hemisphere. Organize your space so that there's more harmony, peace, and beauty, things that Libra loves. Do a checkup on your well-being plan. Like, how well balanced are you in your relationship with others at home, work, family, career? And take action towards setting boundaries. So if you spend too much time focused on others at the expense of losing track of your own wants, needs, and desires, set some boundaries. And lastly, just prepare for a more fast pace. Now that Mercury and Venus retrograde are over, the pace is going to pick up. Yes, we have other planets retrograde, Saturn, Jupiter, all the outer planets are retrograde, but still, with Mercury and Venus now going direct, the pace is going to pick up a little bit. So, it's time to, just kind of get back on track and doing things. Plus, we're going into the last quarter of the year, which tends to be more busy because we have a lot of different holidays, especially if you're living in the US, where there's Halloween and then Thanksgiving and then Christmas or the holidays. So now you may want to start working on your holiday shopping, because it's just the pace of time is going to pick up. And before you know it, it's going to be the new year. So that's all I have for you today. If you would like to receive this information delivered to your inbox, please subscribe to my email newsletter on my website, which is loribarnesastrology.com. I'll include the link below because I write a blog on the full moon as well, and you can read it if you prefer. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back with another video for you in mid-October for the Libra new moon and solar eclipse, which is coming up on October 14th. Yes, October is eclipse season, and there will be a pair of eclipses, and I'm going to talk more about that in the next 2 videos. If you have any questions or comments on what I've talked about today, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to my channel. You can book a consultation with me at loribarnesastrology.com, or you can email me at hello@loribarnesastrology.com. See you next time. Ciao.